Today is an exciting day in the studio, and I have a brand new microphone, the PD-70, which makes it New Mic Day. The PD-70 is a broadcast-style microphone from PreSonus, and it's priced around $100, which makes it very comparable in price to the Rode PodMic. And I was just curious, is it better than the Rode PodMic? Is it a Rode PodMic killer? Well, let's find out. A brief disclaimer, I purchased both microphones with my own cash, and I'm not compensated by anyone for this video. All opinions, experiences, and BS in this video are mine. Suggestions are not recommendations, and a lack of suggestion is not a sign of a deficiency. This video is for entertainment. Let's keep going. Normally, this is the part of the video where I would tell you about how I have these microphones connected to my audio interface and where I have the gain set. But I don't have them connected to the audio interface. I have them connected to a Zoom H1 XLR, a 32-bit handheld recorder. And there is no gain setting to tell you about. That's for another video. But anyhow, I will tell you how much I did push the level of each mic up in post, and I will put that on the lower third right now. Okay, so both of these mics have great design, but they're very, very different. But they do share one thing in common, and that is a fantastic quality of build and mass. They're both very heavy, and when you touch the back of the body of the Rode mic, it feels incredibly, incredibly solid. It's not the best mic for rejecting noise, but it doesn't necessarily ring out either. The same thing's going on over here. This thing feels incredibly solid. Also has some noise. It doesn't reject all of it, but it also doesn't ring as well. Now, this mic has an internal pop filter that is a bit of foam fixed inside of the basket, while this mic has an external pop filter where the foam is on top of the basket. Both of these sort of hold your mouth away from the capsule a little bit. I suspect the capsule in this mic is way down here, and this one has a basket that protrudes up here to keep your face away from it. So no matter how close you get to these microphones, they will only let you get so close. So the proximity does not become overwhelming, but it does sound really, really nice. Specifications. Let's talk about that for a minute. The PD-70 has an impedance of 350 ohms and a claimed frequency response of 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, which is incredibly broad for a broadcast mic. It also has a sensitivity rating around -56 dBV, while the Rode PodMic has an impedance that is slightly lower than the PD-70 at 320 ohms and a more conventional frequency response of 50 to 15,000 hertz. And it also is ever so slightly less sensitive on paper, but in actuality or practice, I can't really tell a difference. When I did have these hooked to my audio interface earlier, the gain settings looked so close that I could not pick the two apart. Now, both microphones are dynamic cardioid type mics, so let's do a quick test to check their off-axis response. This is me talking into the side of the Rode PodMic. This is me talking into the back of the Rode PodMic. And this is me talking into the front of the Rode PodMic. This is me talking into the side of the PD-70. This is me talking into the back of the PD-70. And this is me talking into the front of the PD-70. Now let's have a quick plosive test. I'll do one line speaking directly into the mics and one line speaking past them as I am right now. Peter Piper picked a pick of pickled peppers. 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 Okay, now we have the Rode PodMic connected to the Cloudlifter X, and I'm really curious, does this microphone sound better with the preamp connected, or does it sound worse, or is it about the same? Does it make any significant difference in how it might compare to the PD-70? We're going to find out. So without any further ado, let's try it on the PD-70. All right, now we have the PD-70 connected to the Cloudlifter X, and I'm really curious how this impacts the sound compared to running the PD-70 buck naked into the Zoom recorder with no inline preamp. Is there any sonic benefit to boosting the gain on this mic? Is there any sonic benefit, you think, to the Cinemag transformer and the Cloudlifter X? Let me know in the comments. All right, with the inline preamp test out of the way, I want to do a quick test with these mics and see how they sound with a little bit of EQ and compression. Now, I know the Rode PodMic is not going to need a ton of EQ. It is very scooped and a little hypey, so it sounds pretty good with just a bit of compression. You don't have to do much to it. Okay, and now I'm on the PD-70, and I feel like this mic might need a bit more EQ work in post because the mids on this mic are more pushed, and the top end has more built-in presence. Sort of like the mids from a SM7B, but the presence from, I don't know, something else. But it's not the most natural sounding mic. It doesn't sound bad at all to my ears. It just feels like it might need a little more work to be broadcast ready, where this one seems like it is pretty much ready to go out of the box. Okay, what do I think of the PD-70 versus the PodMic? Well, first off, I will talk about the similarities. They're both built very, very well for $100, and that's a price point that I feel like most people that are serious about YouTube or podcasting can figure out how to come up with. They both, they feel like they could be built by the same people. It's incredible. This mic has a lot more visual appeal. So if you really want to make that statement on camera, I think this is the way to go. But if you perhaps want the mic to make less of a statement on camera and you want something that's a bit more timeless because it doesn't have any real significantly unique styling features, the PD-70 is pretty great. I like them both for different reasons. Sonically, there's significantly different. This is a much more transparent sounding dynamic microphone, and that's primarily because they've scooped out the mids a bit, and it's got a little bit of sizzle on the top and a little bit of boost on the bottom. Put a little compression on this guy and it sounds great. And also what sounds great on this mic is a generic pop filter. You just stick it on there, man. This isn't even made for this mic, but I feel like this pop filter really helps smooth the dynamics of the PodMic out, makes it a little bit more silky because it cuts that high end a little bit, and I really dig it. But if you put this pop filter on here, there's no more visual sauce. All right, let's talk about the sonics of the PD-70. I feel like this is more traditional in its sonic presentation. You've got really full mids, a decent tight low end, but the top end, the presence is definitely there and it is baked into this mic, and it's a little bit difficult to work with. It's not as easy to EQ as this, which really just doesn't need any. I would hold that against this mic a little bit, at least with my voice. With your voice, it may be great. It just doesn't seem to jive with my voice as well as this mic does. So that's it, y'all. Which microphone did you prefer? And was there any particular situation that you preferred it in? I want to know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help me out. Until next time, have fun and make great content.